Hello guys, it's me again, and the last time I was here, I reviewed the original Finding Nemo. Now I finally saw it. Now we're going to be reviewing the new movie that came out, Finding Dory. Now, if you guys haven't seen my review of the Finding Nemo movie, basically I think it's a good film for Pixar, at least, for one of their starter up movies. I mean, it still kind of holds up, but there are some elements to where, the characters and the story that are just standard. And going into this movie, I wanted to be, well, first off, I wanted to be, impressed more than anything. I mean, this is Pixar. I mean, I want Pixar to get back up in its game because, honestly, I think Up, Inside Out, and the and some other films along the way have been doing much better, and they've recently gotten a little bit of a downfall in their other films like Brave and Monsters University and The Good Dinosaur, and those films just keep they did not meet the quality or so much, and they did not receive that many good reviews per se when they came out. So so going into this movie, I wanted Pixar to come back. I wanted Pixar to come back in like a new fresh light while also doing the sequel format, and as a sequel to a Finding Nemo movie, it's good, but I don't know if I would consider it a great Pixar movie. I don't think anybody's coming out saying that this is a great Pixar movie. I think that they're going to be coming out, this is a good sequel to Finding Nemo. I don't think people are going to be I don't think people are going to be so caught up in that Pixar drama that they have to say that every Pixar movie is good. I personally, for me, I don't think every Pixar movie is good. I mean, I can only select a few that are truly, truly fantastic, and the rest are just kind of meh in the middle of the road. But I mean, not to discourage Pixar or anything, I really, Pixar used to be, on top of their A game, and it's still, in definition, is still probably the most influential company when it comes to 3D animation. But well, first of all, going in analyzing the movie, I noticed that I liked the pacing better in this movie than in the original, because I can assume like this movie is, again, very dialogue heavy, just like the first one. It wants to get into the plot as fast as they can, and the only real criticism I would have is that there are some scenes in there where they probably shouldn't have been in there, like Dory's flashbacks or the Marlin and Nemo scenes. There's some of those scenes that shouldn't have been in there, and to the credit of the original, it was important for every single scene to be in the Finding Nemo. It was important for every single scene to be in Finding Nemo. Every scene mattered, and some of the scenes in here, I think you could have cut away that immediately. And, just with the pacing in general, I liked it better, but I think there's some scenes in there that you could have, cut out entirely. But, do I really need to, almost with every single animation studio, do I even need to say, how good some of the animation is, even today, especially for the texture and the water and, just the water movements and stuff like that. Like, they can get it. Like, Pixar is the king of making that super hyper realistic. And, it's kind of cliched now to say that, oh, Pixar animation, is great, because we know it's great. They do hyper realism real well. And it's amazing to see that Pixar still has its animation game over Disney, because frankly I do think Pixar movies in terms of realism look a lot better than the Disney ones, though Disney is catching up, but it doesn't really matter for animation for me. As long as it's good animation, then I'll buy it. I'll literally, you can serve it to me on a platter. I'll still buy it. I mean, I focus more on the story and the characters, and for what the story and the characters had to deal with in this movie, I would say that it is the exact same movie that you got for Finding Nemo. I mean, really, not really much has changed except for the environment, and I wish there could have been a little bit more. I wish there could have been a little more change in the sequel, because that's what sequels are supposed to do. They're supposed to change, but also resemble some similarity to the first movie. So I I wanted this movie to be to actually, you know, break some ground here, because Pixar, I mean, I can only think of one original Pixar movie that's going to be coming out, and that's Coco. And even then, I can make an argument that that's going to be somewhat of a resemblance to The Book of Life. But every other Pixar movie that's coming out or has been announced is going to be a sequel. Toy Story 4, Incredibles 2, Cars 3. I mean, all these sequel, and Pixar is getting sequelitis and stuff like that. You don't know what sequelitis is? Well, that's when a sequel becomes so tired. And I would say there's a little bit of sequelitis going into there, but it's not so much that you can't tell that they actually put a little bit of thought into making Finding Dory. And you know, just going through the whole movie in general, like, there are some scenes that needed to be cut out. I wish they could have added a little bit more atmosphere like they did in the first one. But in terms of, you know, the characters and in terms of the characters and how they represent from the original to the sequel, I actually liked Dory a lot more, because they actually made her scenes a little bit more tragic. It's like you cannot just laugh at the fact that she has short-term memory loss. They actually make it kind of tragic for her. And I liked her character more. I liked the new characters that they added more. And honestly, it's kind of a mixed bag for me. The best way I can describe this movie is comparing it to Monsters University. And as for someone who actually does like Monsters University, I would say that this is a good follow-up to something to create more world building in that story, in that universe. And this is, like, I would say that this is a good follow-up, but in terms of actually being, you know, extraordinary or even great, I cannot really say that. But in terms of that movie's universe, I think it did fine. And I say the same thing for Finding Dory. I mean, it's kind of like comparing, you know, it's just those two comparisons. Those are the only two things I could think of. And I like both movies. I like both this and Finding Dory. I just don't think that it is a great movie for something like Pixar to handle, but I think it's a good follow-up to what is I think it's a good follow-up to the original, in terms of whether it's a prequel or sequel or anything like that. So, is Pixar going to be in trouble? It's hard to say. It's hard to say, because while I do think that this is a good movie, I do not think that it is above Pixar's standards. I think they can do much more better with original ideas. It's just, let's just hope that Pixar can get on its game with the sequels and hopefully cancel Cars 3. I do not want to see a Cars 3. I don't think anybody wants to see a Cars 3. But yeah, I mean, with Toy Story 4, I hope that, you know, I hope they do new things. I hope they create new ideas for, you know, well, from what I've heard, it's a new chapter. And it's going to be following Little Bo Peep. So I'm wondering what they're going to do with that, and that could be, you know, end up for interpretation. And Incredibles 2, of course, we've all been waiting for Incredibles 2. I certainly have. It's probably my top 3, if not like second favorite Pixar movie. I just love The Incredibles so much. But As for Finding Dory, it is a good follow-up to the original Finding Nemo, but do I consider it a great film? No, I do not. So, I'm going to be rating this about, let's just say, I think I gave the original a 7.5, and I'm gonna be right there with you. I like some things more than the original, but there's other things that are holding it back. But that's the same thing I said for the original. So they edge out about the same to me. I mean, it's good follow-up. But I think I would rate this probably about a 7. I mean, it's a good movie for something to follow up, but not a good enough movie for Pixar to be coming back. I mean, I want Pixar to come back. I really do. It's just Disney on that A game. I mean, Disney on that animation game. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say, guys, for this movie review. And I hope to see you guys later for the next movie, which is going to be coming out in probably, I think, about 2 weeks. I'm not sure. But I will see you guys for The Secret Life of Pets. And as always, JC Animation Critic out. See you guys later. Take care.